This is really frightening. I put up earlier, it's April 11th, 2022. They had yesterday, or this morning, they had up Mayor Adams and like a set of higher echelon, like, lineup, or at least that's what it looks like, of a different gang mentality. They call them politicians, but again, between the lobbyists and the organized crime, the top and the bottom looks awfully similar to me. They just use different weapons. One pushes money and whatever. So here they're showing now, there was apparently, I didn't know this, something called an MS-13 gang on Long Island. Again, I'm not out on the streets. It's not my cup of tea, and I'm not a fan. So it's La Diablita. I mean, again, I could re-acronym this in a codex for whatever this is. They found her guilty, and they showed, like, all of these people that are living on Long Island, or that they found. They lured somebody into the woods, and then they tried to kill this, or they killed this person. I mean, like, that's what the TV's saying anyway. And I'm just like, why are these people on Long Island? Like, and there's something called a U.S. attorney who's representing them, standing in front of the same U.S. flag that the United States of America has. So now is this part of the MI grants problem, or is this part of the movement of goods and services with the humans? I mean, like, I don't even know how to label them respectfully. So whatever, I mean, like, I don't know who identifies with whom in humanity, but it's really concerning when I see President Biden surrounded by non-family members in Washington, D.C. I'm surrounded by MS-13 gangs, and I do have one pillar of strength. I don't know how far I can trust him, but at least he seems to be holding the city together until reinforcements arrive, or however that works, when whatever. But it's really interesting, like, not in like more of like a horrific way, more of like the Ukraine version of Jacques being horror, and this giant that's been, like, I don't know, just like, has it been unaddressed, or are people just not speaking of it in the Lust Garden Foundation of drugs, money, sex, and rock and roll? I'm just curious. It brings a certain element. We didn't all sign up for this. I mean, you don't all have to, like, hide in your house, but I mean, it's horrible when you can't go out on the street either.
Found guilty today of luring 4 young men to their deaths by more than 12 members of the notorious MS-13 street gang. Prosecutors said 22-year-old Lenise Escobar, helping to orchestrate the 2017 massacre as a teenage associate of the gang before falsely claiming to be a victim in the ambush.
Now here's the question. This is Suffolk County, where my children were, and where I was living at this 2017. I wasn't there, but they're there, and they're in this. How does one know when they arrive? Why is there no, like, community group in Suffolk County saying, I mean, I don't even care if they have to canvass door to door with their, like, special badge thingies on. I mean, I see Chicago PD. They have a badge that goes around their neck when they're working plain clothes. So, I mean, like, don't tell me they're not, like, badged and official enough that they can't warn some of us and we can't figure out how to keep ourselves safe. I mean, it's got to be some kind of community group to prevent our children from getting taken advantage of or lured into these situations. Now, it just so happens this famous last name from Colombia, Escobar, is on here. Again, don't want to set off more tempers, but this is really frightening.
A fifth young man who was able to escape testified in the trial. Escobar's lawyers tried to argue that Escobar, who was only 17 at the time, didn't know that MS-13 gang members were going to kill the young men.
We do maintain that our client, Miss Lenise Escobar, didn't.
That's the level of attorney I'm used to in the court buildings around here. Again, they go to Harvard. I mean, they're just, I don't know. Is there another law school that they go to other than like Harvard or Yale? I wouldn't. Oh, I think they have Turo College, local, but it's like nobody knows about it.
Didn't intend for this to happen.
Those 5 young men in the prime of their lives had no idea.
Like this guy, it says he's a U.S. attorney. Like, how can you call the two of them attorneys? Where does one go for a U.S. attorney school? I mean, like, simple things they haven't taught in public school, while they allow all of this to go on and break apart. And I mean, it's just like, was there any effort made for Joe Biden and his kids, or like my parents and me, to like ever even just survive? Like, how about a postcard? Like, why don't you come visit Canada? Here's like $1,000. Like, drive overnight and we'll like meet us at this address. You have relatives that love you. I mean, something. But instead they just leave us here like tomcats or stray cats or feral cats. I mean, it's, talk about like no showing of love whatsoever throughout a life frame.
Idea that Escobar was leading them to their death, into a killing field where MS-13 gang members.
Now, I really can't tell the difference between the White House front lawn doctor and these guys. I see the exact same thing, maybe just a different, like, whatever. One got to go to college and maybe the other ones didn't. But I see the exact same thing. So one plans murders and fights over drugs and all sorts of stuff, and the other one fights over drugs and germ warfare. I really don't see the difference. But it's here on Long Island, it's concerning. And I see it's down in Washington. It says here, Group 1, Group 2. And this is on this newscast. This is their whatevers. Again, I really don't see a difference between that. I'll pull up the other one. Hang on. Okay, so that was MS-13. And that was a U.S. attorney speaking about MS-13, which is a gang thing, which is here on Long Island, which is really frightening. And then you have on the same news, just I had to rewind it a few. It says this week, this man in front of something to do, I don't know, is that the White House? I don't know their stately buildings, but I cannot tell the difference. He looks like highly paid pharmaceutical. The other ones look like they're not very highly paid for their version of pharmaceutical. I'm just saying, it's hard to tell the difference, but they're around and close. And in like Jurassic Park movie land, if we're talking about like the raptors got out of the cage kind of a thing, and they're on the loose, I think that's a fair thing to say, because it's just as frightening. Especially if you're one of like the lambs and you're looking for the shepherd because you're not sure how you got led astray.
Pandemic isn't over, right? We're still going to see cases of this virus spreading, and we have to continue to be vigilant. We have to continue to be careful. But as long as people are vaccinated and boosted, we now have a lot of treatment.
So you want them to be good Christians and believe in the Pope? Is that like the only thing as far as responsibility that they have to claim? I'm just curious. I don't make the rules. I'm just trying to follow along and see where these anchors of logic and reality are in this mess that they keep putting up here.
Treatments available.
Adams did attend the Gridiron Club dinner in Washington April 2nd. At least
I was not invited, so I'm not part of their organized crime unit.
he's 72 positive.
So, but again, just like MS-13, I mean, there are associates involved. These particular ones went to something, again, I don't know what Gridiron is, but I don't know if they condone the behavior of allowing these things to go on while I'm in New York. I got to college, but there was nothing for me after college, like the adults had said there would be if we paid the tuition. We took the, like, we sat there for the learning. I did all of that. There was just no employment offered at any level that would allow me to sustain my own living while they're all doing some form of, I don't know, here we are. Here's Speaker of the House. This guy just has a D-GA. This one says he's a U.S. Attorney General. This one says Secretary of Commerce. Again, I don't know what these people really do because they don't teach that at college or in public school. But it's concerning. Secretary of our Communications Director. Communications are down. He should really know that. And I don't know how he got that job function, but that's a hot spot right there. Secretary of Agriculture. Then we've got, oh, look at this, DNY. That's whatever that is. But again, it's like more mugshots. First Lady's Press Secretary. He's from New York. Oh, I wonder if Meeks and him went together. That's interesting. They're both in New York while I'm here. I'm just curious if there's any connection. I don't know who looks into this kind of stuff. It's really confusing to even figure out how, like the different, I mean, who do you trust in any of this? I haven't been able to find anything. I can't even trust my own parents at this point.
Positive cases have been traced back to that event. However, all of the mayor's tests were negative until yesterday. Leading up to the diagnosis, he was busy attending several indoor engagements here in our area. Health experts are closely watching what...
So that's what's going on Long Island, in case I have a G over man somewhere, and like the man upstairs, like the man. Yeah, life didn't work out so well for me. I hope yours worked out better in whatever you do. Wasn't sure if you knew just how bad it got over here. But there are other houses that are reliant on this White House thing, so it is concerning for me. New York is having a real problem. If we do an update on the unrest in the colonies. Let's see, what else did you miss while I was trying to survive? Yeah, well, that's just, I mean, like, that's what the officials know are in the area, who these officials are and what capacity. I see that they go by this label U.S., but I don't know, I don't see any of the other law enforcement agencies. Well, Suffolk County Police are on there, so, on that one. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken, and Torres, Torres, was in the vicinity when I got stung with the bee sting, is what I called it, because I didn't know what else to call it before I went down and out and didn't know what was going on. In my, like, weekends at Bernie's, like, in real life, but just walking into a Tia Frio 1975 brought me there with his friends. So, whatever on that.